Welcome back, Terrestrials. In this episode, we're doing Hellbound Heart, aka Hellraiser, aka Sadomasochistus from Beyond the Grave. Um, 1987. Clive Barker is the director. The budget 900,000. It made 14.6 million. There's
Hmm.
7 kills depending on how you look at it, and yeah, there's a little bit of nudity. Let's hop into it. Jerry, what grade did you give this movie?
Uh, S.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna I'm gonna give it an S, but I do have some gripes about it. So,
Yeah.
where are you going with it?
I'm gonna give it an A plus.
A plus.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just excuse me. At the end of the day, it's just a boring, gory BDSM romance. I mean, it's a good movie. I love it. It's classic. It's an iconic movie.
Right.
But when you really break it down, it's pretty whack until like the last 30 minutes. Like it's just watching this woman be a horrible human being and some other dude be a horrible human being and steal people's blood and to regenerate, and then yeah, I mean,
No.
like what is this movie really,
Even the dad's like a horrible human being if you think about it. There was that
I mean, is he
love
though?
making. Well, they were getting all down and stuff, and like
Like,
Julia's like,
oh, I
"No,
can't
stop,
tell with
no,
you.
stop!"
Yeah,
And she
yeah,
kept on, and he's just like, "No, this is her foreplay or something."
yeah.
Fucking, it's just like, no, dude, you
I
might
don't
want
know, maybe we don't know,
to,
he might have
yeah,
been into some CNC type
fuck
shit.
it, yeah. But yeah, the movie, I don't know. It's like the most interesting part for me in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is the Frank and Julia story. Like
yeah.
Cenobites, Cinnabon aside, man,
Okay.
fucking like they're awesome. They're great, in small doses in this movie. Everything I think is really great in small doses. It's only when we have to like hold on it for a good minute that things start kind of getting tacky in the movie. If you like really pay attention, like but the Frank and Julia story is amazing. This idea that like we as an audience member don't know. We know Frank because we
Hmm.
saw him in the beginning. Then we saw the Cenobites kind of playing with his guts. And
Hmm.
then fucking they move into the new house, like stuff happens, and then
Hmm.
he cuts his hand, and then all of a sudden a goop monster fucking comes out of the boards,
Hmm.
and we're just like, what? And then we start learning more. Oh, this is Frank. Oh, Frank was,
Yeah.
the uncle, yada yada yada. All that stuff's great, but like when you start really paying attention to like dialogue from the human beings in this, fucking that's where it's like, yeah, Clive can write cool concepts, but I don't know if he can do dialogue that did it hurt?
Yeah, he pulled a Rob Zombie.
Yeah,
I thought that as well during while I was watching this movie. I was like, man, this thing doesn't need vocabulary.
right.
Like, it doesn't need any type of dialogue. It could just been set to a cool soundtrack. Like, get Atticus Finch and Trent Reznor in there and let them score this movie.
Yeah, that would have been.
And that because he tells the story so well visually
Yeah.
that all the other stuff is just like in the way almost.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got to do it for me, Julia. Like, I don't want to, but okay. Like, no, just music. Like, it
Right.
would have been such, it would have taken, it would have, honestly, for me, it would have elevated this movie very much.
I definitely like, yeah, like the pet store
Yeah.
stuff.
Fucking monkeys.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, there's a
monkeys
monkey
in a
in the
pet
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 store.
store
Wow.
and like a massive python
Yeah. That's when like
and a
the
homeless
dialogue,
guy.
really starts kicking in. And I noticed that, and I noticed like shit, where was another dialogue moment that it was with fuck, what's Kirsty. No, like it just like what's happening right now, you know? But what Clive really like kicks ass in
Mhm.
is concept and maybe like a one liner here and there. I mean,
Mm.
fucking angels to some, demons to others,
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Jesus wept, fucking phenomenal.
yeah,
Will tear your soul apart.
yeah,
Are you kidding me? Fucking those are great.
yeah,
Like, or come to daddy, fucking Frank.
yeah,
Um, I know there's a couple of more like where I just these moments that are really fucking awesome, you
yeah,
know, and just the concept of like the Cenobites, the Cenobons, fucking themselves are really good. And when I was watching this, that's when I'm fucking my appreciation for the new one
yeah,
actually was just like, holy shit,
yeah,
fucking
yeah. That new one was dope.
the new one, like, oh my god, did the new one just beat the original?
The new one might be an S for me. There was a couple of things that I was thinking of um with that because I was thinking of the new one. I was doing the same thing essentially. But I was like, are they playing Christy as like somebody who's in recovery as well? Because she calls and she's like, they're like, why don't you just come stay with us? And she's like, no, I found a room. Like, where was she before that? Was she in rehab? Like,
They
that's
moved
what
from
came
New
to
York
mind.
to this is London.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. That makes sense. Or no.
Because
But
he says,
also,
you're back on your old stomping grounds, Julia. And she has an English accent, so kind of put the puzzle pieces together. I mean, I don't, you know.
maybe. Um, but also one of the other things that I was thinking is like how great of an actor Christie's dad is.
Yeah,
Like the 180 flip in him is just so well done. I mean, it's
from him
like,
to Frank.
yeah,
Yeah,
where from him to pretending Frank is in his body.
right,
Like the acting job, like being this soft, caring, like pushover-ish kind of guy to this Frank, this embodiment of Frank
right.
is just very, I was like, that's impressive. Like it's
Yeah,
all in his eyes too. Like his eyes completely change from like a soft, gentle look to like a very like
even like
stern, like stare.
a couple of facial features that he gives are a little different, and
Mhm.
like to embody Frank, you know. Um, but yeah, I totally agree with that. The only thing also that I would really say that I missed, and I wish they would have had it in there, is Frank becoming him. Because it's just like that's void. There is no like
Right,
him putting on Frank or him finally getting
right.
the dad and stuff, you know. It's just like, but then again, why did she end up in the hospital? She passed out, but did we need to take pants off for that and shit?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously she passed out, and those three people were like, "Are
Are
you
you
okay?"
okay? Yeah.
Yeah, with the New York hat on,
Yeah.
also, by the way, which is why I'm like, are they in London?
That's a good point
Um,
because even the tow truck, now I'm thinking about the
the
um
mover
the
guys have like
movers,
that
yeah,
New York
they weren't
to
like,
style. Yeah,
where do you want this mattress?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
anything, you
Well,
know.
this movie was shot in London and
Right.
Britain, and then it was dubbed in English. So who knows? But
It was shot in London and dubbed in English.
yeah, with like
Okay.
American accents.
Okay, I see what you're
Yeah,
saying. I see what you're saying.
yeah.
The only reason I thought they dubbed Frank's voice was because the actor who plays Frank in the suit,
Mhm,
he had to have a certain body type to have
right.
that like skinny is like if we get his, machismo Frank at the beginning, if we use his voice, no one's gonna buy that this is Frank. So we'll just give that guy his voice.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I was thinking.
maybe.
Fucking,
I don't know. It's funny because I know I've watched the documentary on it, but I don't remember much from it. Um,
I know Doug Bradley had two choices for roles,
yeah,
either the guy who wants a beer lifting up the mattress,
yeah,
or fucking Pinhead.
yeah,
And they
yeah,
were like, "Yeah, but your face is gonna be covered up." It's like,
yeah,
no, you take the fucking Pinhead fucking
yeah.
role,
Take
dude.
the lead Cenobite role.
Right.
The only other gripe that I have with this movie is the dragon skeleton homeless guys. Like, okay, why is he fall? He's like keeping an eye on the box basically, or
Right.
whoever has the box. And then he
I think that's played
also,
by Clive Barker too.
it might be, I'm not sure, I couldn't really see very well anything but the eyes.
Right.
Um, but then he turns into a dragon skeleton, takes the box back to, I'm assuming China, maybe Chinatown in New York. I don't know. But he takes it back to the Asian guy, and here we go again.
Yeah.
So it's like, what was that? What just happened? Does this guy know what the box is? Obviously, the Chinese guy knows what the
Right.
box is. Why is he doing it? Who does he work for? What is his pet dragon? Like, why is it playing fetch with this fucking box? Like, there's so many questions that are just like, no, 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 don't pay any attention to that.
Right.
Like, just look, Pinhead. Like,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
Um,
But yeah, that was it.
but once again, that makes they in the remake they made that more full fleshed on why you
Yeah,
need to get the box out there and get it back. You
yeah,
know, that's what I really liked about the new
yeah,
one. We're not talking about the new one.
exactly.
Um, another moment that really just like I noticed this time watching that was still, this is still an S too. Was
This is the most
after,
gripes for an S that I
yeah,
think you've ever had by
after,
far.
um, you know, Jesus wept,
Uh,
and they were like, okay, what do we do now? We'll have the Cenobites go after her. And it kind of feels, well, what do they do? What are they do? What do they do? And it's just kind of like, I don't know,
yeah,
make
just slowly stalk her.
yeah, just walk up and then Butterball, like some shit will fall on you, and then
Yeah,
Chatter, she'll just kind of like play with the box and you'll disappear.
yeah,
And then Pinhead, you'll just disappear too. So,
yeah,
but yeah, it was just like we
yeah,
wrote ourselves instead of just an amazing, she closes the door, the house is because they're not there for Kirsty, they're
yeah.
there for Frank.
Right. And they did say maybe. Like, Doug Bradley makes a point to be like, maybe we'll let you live.
Right.
Uh, but obviously their Cenobites can't be trusted.
Right.
Um, but that brings me to the house falling apart thing. Why were people dumping kitty litter on the people in the house? Like, what purpose did that? Was that supposed to be the house falling
Yeah,
apart?
just dust. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
it looked like
dust.
somebody emptied vacuum cleaners
Fucking
over top of them, dude.
grandma,
Like,
when she
what the
built this
fuck?
house, she built it out of fucking like brick and mortar, like
Yeah,
back in the 1883s and shit.
yeah. It was just so much like dust and junk falling on them. I was like, what is this? Why is this? I don't know.
Right.
Okay, all right.
That's a
Nobody
lot
had
of,
like some.
yeah, a lot of shit to be falling for
Yeah,
just,
dude. Like,
you know.
what? It's got to be like 900-year-old
Hmm.
installation, or like it looked like rat nests,
Hmm.
honestly. Just falling like insulation and whatever random other shit they can find.
Right.
Um,
Another moment though that they must have cut out or so, or they had an idea and they just didn't get a moment shooting it, is we see Julia.
yeah,
Okay, Frank has like, I don't know, sucked her soul out or whatever. I don't know. She's gangly
yeah,
and then the next we see her, she's been playing with the box in the bed,
yeah. I
and
thought she was dead.
the hooks. Yeah, like, yeah. So what? What happened? Did they cut that or? Were they gonna
So
go back and shoot some shit? But
the only thing, well, that's a pretty big fart. So the only thing that I know for sure
mhm.
is Clive had a lot more graphic sex scenes in it that
No,
they cut. Like uh
like full penetration.
Julia full we show it. We
We
show
show the
it.
whole thing.
Yeah. But like when Julia meets Frank for the first time, there was supposed to be like some spanking and shit. And then the second time when they like flash back, that was supposed to be more graphic.
Hmm.
They cut that, and then also the Jesus wept part,
Right.
the ripping apart was supposed to be longer, and you can see that it's cut.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it
definitely.
cuts, it's a very hard edit there. All that was supposed to be longer. I don't know if that's it, or because I mean yeah, you're right, it doesn't make much sense because I thought she was dead in the stairwell.
Right.
So she she because none of the other bodies that he drains gets up and moves around.
No.
So why would she have gotten up, went upstairs? How did she get the box? Why is there hooks in her face? Like that's an unanswered thing that
Yeah.
would be nice to know.
Yeah. There's just a lot of those moments in here.
Yeah,
Fucking Frank with the dad.
yeah,
Like, how did he get in that body? Julia. Um, like, why are you in the hospital? I mean, technically, she didn't do anything wrong.
right.
So why do the cops want to talk to her if she just passed out, you
Yeah,
know?
when you pass out in the middle of the road, you go to the hospital, and then maybe the cops want to make sure you're not a junkie or something
Right.
like that. So
Right. But
that part was like the least of my concerns
ooh,
because there's a
correct.
skeleton dragon that came from a homeless guy. That's a little bit more of a pressing issue of trying to understand, and again, Julia as well. So
Right. I think okay. Clive Barker did a movie before this called
yes,
Rawhead Rex. Have you ever
yes,
seen it?
no,
It's fucking ferocious.
yeah,
And I just made that word up. Fucking
ferocious,
is ferocious a real word?
yeah,
Oh wow.
ferocious, yeah.
I thought it was like terrible
Yeah,
and
yeah, like
ferocious.
horrible.
I was
No,
doing terrible and
oh yeah, no.
horrible. Fucking
Ferocious is just like extremely bad also.
hey,
Yeah.
awesome. I
Yeah.
finally got one and I
Yeah.
didn't even know I got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So it doesn't count.
yeah,
Go ahead.
Rawhead Rex
Yeah.
is a fucking ferocious movie.
Uh-huh.
And I think what Clive had in his head didn't come out on screen. I think this one truly like got there closer,
Yeah.
like where
Yeah.
he's getting closer every time he
Yeah.
writes or someone takes a script and makes a movie,
Yeah.
and sorry to say, but somebody was fucking around with those middle Hellraisers. But I really think like some parts in this are genius. Like whoever was the designer and the
Yeah.
idea man of coming up with some of these things, I would much rather deal with fucking Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers than deal with fucking Pinhead any day of the week.
See, so I think I would rather not. Cause I feel like you can reason with Pinhead. Cause she just made a deal with him. Now, whether he holds up to that deal or not,
Right.
she was still able to hold a logical conversation with him.
Right.
How many other serial killer or slasher killers do you hold a conversation with where there's logic behind what is
Oh
happening?
no, he's the only
Exactly.
one
So
where,
I think he would be my choice.
but where
Yeah.
my argument comes from that is I
Right.
would much rather be stabbed to death and get fucking a bunch of hooks. Those fishing hooks.
Yeah,
If you've
but they
ever
give you
gotten,
pleasure and pain. So somebody's sucking you off
I mean,
after the hook thing.
so
Remember?
yeah,
Because Frank's like, they took me and they showed me pleasure and pain. So that little throat cut right there, I think that's where you're.
like that's a fuck hole.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think she blows you with her neck. And so it's pleasure and pain, bro. You got,
Fuck. trach me up, man.
Yeah.
Uh, no, but
I'm gonna
like, I
fuck
don't
that
know.
tracheotomy.
Every time fucking, and these look so good. Like the hooks going into the skin in this movie.
Yeah.
My God, if you've
It
ever
looks
gotten a
super
hook,
fake, but it also looks good.
yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely
You can
looks like,
tell that it's just like foam with latex paint over it or
yeah,
something. Like I could do that. Like I know I could do that because
right.
the majority of it is how stretchy the latex paint is.
And
But
like,
it looks really, really good.
yeah. If you've ever gotten a fishing hook,
Yes.
maybe not like that big, because those are big fucking deep sea
Yes.
guys,
It don't
but
take a lot.
it doesn't. Oh my, it just a pain.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Sucks. Yeah.
Yes. And, but yeah, that's, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah.
man.
Overall this movie is fantastic. I think it's visually a well shot movie.
It's
Um,
darker.
Clive Clive Barker really he didn't even want to direct this movie, but
Yeah.
the last movie that that they had adapted from his catalog, he hated.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Look, I want to make sure it's done right. So, how
Exactly.
much of a budget can I get if I'm the one to direct it?" And they were like, "Well, you can have $900,000." And he was like, "Oh shit. What if somebody else directs it?" And they were like, "You can have a couple million." He was like, "Fuck it. I'll take the 900K and I'll do it myself."
Yeah.
So this is as close to his vision as he could possibly do with time and finances,
All right.
because they even ran over on shooting. This was like a 7 week schedule that is what it was supposed to be shot in,
Mm-hmm.
and they went, I think, almost 10 weeks. Like the production company kept being like, "Here, yeah, just keep going. We like what we see. We have faith in it. Just keep going." And kept, funding it, I guess.
All right.
So, I mean, it's as close to is what he wants within the parameters that he had, being time and money. So, I
The art
mean,
style is magnificent for
yeah,
what he can do. I mean, in my opinion, Clive Barker created two of the most iconic characters in the world, and their fucking remakes are amazing compared to a Jason, a Freddy, a Michael. You
yeah,
know, I think Candyman and Hellraiser,
yeah,
they finally reached that goal. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
Candyman, the first one, we're not talking about, but Candyman, the first one, really good, but the
yeah.
remake is like
Right.
miles ahead, you know?
And I think that's why you have to keep an open mind with remakes.
Mhm.
Is like, okay, in 1987, 1986, I guess, is when they filmed it, but Clive Barker had $900,000 and didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
2023, somebody had way more money and way more skill, and they were able to refilm that movie, change it up, and make it 10 times better. Same thing with Candyman.
Hmm.
Not that Tony Todd's Candyman wasn't amazing, but
It was
Abdul's,
iconic. Yeah.
yeah, Abdul's is equally as good, if not better, because there's more skill, more technology, more, it just, you have sometimes these movies are just building blocks until something else can be figured out.
Right.
And, and then other times it's like Friday 13th movies where they just keep dumping them out instead of, somebody going,
Yeah.
"All right, hold on, let me rework this." So yeah,
Hmm. Yeah. Quantity over quality
yeah,
in the Jason realm.
yep,
Just pump them out. Kids
yeah,
go to them. Oh my
yeah.
God, Friday the 13th, part 27 is coming out, you know?
I mean, that's what they were for, and they were fun for that reason.
Right.
When I was a kid, I loved them. Looking back on them through this channel, not so much, but
Right.
as a kid, it was just, oh yeah, boobs and blood, So
The did what it needed to do. But that's where I think Clive Barker comes in, is that he created a more sophisticated class of villain and horror icon where it's not this black and white. It's a
Yeah.
shade of gray,
Yeah.
and it's very unique, where
Eh,
you're kind of understanding the villain. You're understanding, small things.
Well, yeah,
Uh
I mean, he's a dude from Levathian that he's like a loan shark. He
Le-
gives you the pleasure and the pain, he comes to collect your soul. Like,
Leviathan.
yeah.
Okay, you
What
said
did I say?
Levathian.
Whatever.
Levathian.
It's the same thing.
Oh, okay. My
It's
brain
tomato,
went,
tomato.
where the
Uh,
fuck is Levathian at, man? Is that
uh,
like, are we talking about Candyman? Was fucking Candyman from Levathian?
yeah, yeah, not Copernican greens.
Yeah,
But yeah, so it's like you make a deal with him and he comes to collect. Like,
right,
it's a very business transaction style situation. Yeah, he's more sophisticated, but also this movie is not about the Cenobites. This
right.
movie is about Frank and Julia. And it's really not even about Julia, it's about Frank.
Frank
So like the
manipulating Julia into
right,
bringing like these fucking
right,
Johns into her house
right.
for him to, I don't know, he doesn't eat them. He just kind of
Right,
like
he drains them like a
he
vampire.
sticks his fingers in the back of their neck. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Julia, look
Um,
away. Don't look at this.
but also why was his body in the floorboards, and then also why did his was it his brother's blood specifically? Like, if Julia would have cut herself, would he come back?
I think it
Or
was
was it
blood in
Frank?
general. That
Yeah, or
I,
was it Frank's blood specifically because he had to be a blood relative to come back,
yeah, I
Like
think
this.
Frank played with the box in that room. The Cenobites tore him to fucking pieces because he didn't solve it correctly or something.
Right.
Um,
Wrong
and
answer.
yeah, fucking that's just and the like Clive Barker just wrote that like a drop of blood will reanimate him. You know,
Yeah, I mean, it works, and all those bodysuits were great.
right?
I think it was a little. I thought it was kind of cool and ridiculous that, like, in his almost final form, he was wearing a dress shirt. I was like, yeah, what the fuck, yeah, dude, that's gonna stick to you. Like, it's gonna be sticky. And you
Right.
talk about how you could taste the cigarette. I know you, them nerve endings are like exposed right now. That shirt's probably rubbing on them. It probably don't feel good. What I'm
This
saying is this movie's an F. Um,
fuck no,
yeah, based on
no,
that shirt situation. No,
no.
I'm just joking. But yeah, I mean,
Well, we have the next movie to really talk about that, where because the doctor figures that out with Julia when they
yeah,
reanimate Julia,
yeah,
and it comes out and fucking and he puts her in this garb and like fake skin basically.
yeah, yeah,
It's just like she just put that dress on like normal and it's all gooey and he's just like,
uh,
you're traipsing all over my house. Would you just stop? Fucking
yeah,
just stay there.
yeah. Stay still. Stay still.
Yeah.
You're
But
only allowed to walk on the drop cloths, on
right.
the tarps, the trash bags.
Fucking
Stay on the trash bags.
he's throwing down
Yeah,
fucking newspapers
yeah,
behind in front of
yeah,
her. Like, just
yeah,
walk on the goddamn newspaper, okay?
yeah, yeah.
This is all
And those are
expensive.
sticking to her too.
Yeah.
We just turned Hellraiser 2 into a hilarious comedy. A
What do
weekend
you
that
get
burnt,
when you
yeah.
play with the magical box?
Yeah,
And comedy ensues.
yeah. A very weekend at Bernie's-esque style
Yeah, I'm
comedy.
fucking playing the song from fucking Dumb and Dumber that
Yeah, yeah.
fucking oh man. But
All right, you got anything else on this?
nah, I think we're pretty good. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah.
All right, Jacob. Is this a cult classic?
I I mean, at one time I'm sure it was, but now it's just an iconic movie.
I say iconic, not very much cult classic. It's people beloved it. So,
Yeah.
um, fuck. Would you go see it in the theater?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go see this in the theater.
Yeah.
Definitely. Probably the only one I would go see other than the remake. So they need to put that out in the theaters. And since it didn't get a theatrical release, it just got like a
Oh,
Hulu.
yeah, it's just a Hulu movie. I think that was a big swing, and they weren't sure how that was going to go.
I think
Even though
so
the
too.
movie was solid, and I think everybody in the movie and knew that that was a winner.
Right.
I think they were still like,
That
"Fuck it,
and
let's just push it
Prey
out."
just need to
Yeah,
have like a weekend release 1 week
yeah.
just
I'm sure
for
eventually.
right. Right. Own a physical copy of it.
Yeah, I got several.
Yeah, so do I. So obviously this already has a remake. They did great. Fucking so I guess remake question
The
is
remake is so close to better than this.
the remake is better because they give purpose to everything that's being done, not just like
Yeah, yeah.
why the
Again,
box
though,
is being played.
that goes back to the whole like Hellraiser fraud, so Hellraiser remake could run. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like without that one, then that one doesn't exist. Like it had to have the base story, it had to have this first original one for the other one to go, okay, I see what you did there. I'm gonna make some improvements. I'm gonna make some adjustments to improve it.
Right.
So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They're kind of like right there for me.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So yeah,
But
go
yeah,
see
fuck
it.
it. That's Hellraiser.